Hello and welcome to the Deep Dive. We often think about nature as something separate, something out there, but today we're diving into something really fascinating. How cities, yes, cities, can actually become these thriving sanctuaries for biodiversity. And we're going to zoom in on one specific, pretty remarkable example, Miami Ironside's pollinator corridor. Just picture this half-mile stretch of green, absolutely buzzing with life, right in the middle of, well, urban Miami. So our mission today is to unpack what this corridor really is, why it's so important, and how it's kind of quietly changing the way we look at city spaces. You might find some unexpected ideas here about how we coexist with the natural world. Okay, so let's start right there. This Miami Ironside project. It sounds intriguing, but what exactly is a pollinator corridor in this context? How does it work?
Well, fundamentally, it's a pathway. It's a planted stretch of land. Could be narrow, could be wider, that forms a continuous route for pollinators. So it's packed with flowering plants, herbs, trees, all chosen specifically to feed and shelter bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, you name it. What makes the Ironside one interesting is, like you said, its location. It's woven right into a busy commercial and creative district, not just tucked away in a park somewhere.
And why is supporting these pollinators so critical? I mean, we hear about bees declining, but what's the bigger picture?
It's huge, actually. Pollinators are responsible for, well, over 75% of the world's flowering plants, and maybe more relatable for us, something like a third of our global food crops rely on them.
A third. Wow.
Yeah, and their numbers are dropping sharply in some cases. Things like pesticides, obviously habitat destruction, pollution, climate change. It all adds up. And in a place like Miami, which is developing so fast that pressure is intense.
So Miami Ironside decided not to just pave everything over. They actively built this living system. It sounds like it's more than just looking nice.
Exactly. It's ecological infrastructure. That's the key idea. It performs a function, a vital one, way beyond just being decorative garden space. It's foundational to how that area works.
Okay, so we've got this living pathway, this infrastructure, but does it work? I mean, who actually showed up? Here's where it gets really interesting. Who has made this half-mile stretch their thriving home?
Oh, it's been quite incredible to watch. The response from nature was pretty immediate. We've seen, for example, 5 specific native butterfly species really establish themselves there.
Vivatives.
Yes. Like the Atala butterfly. This one was actually endangered not too long ago. But because the corridor includes lots of kunti plants, its host plant, it's flourishing there now.
That's fantastic.
Then you have the zebra longwing, that's Florida's state butterfly, very distinctive with those long striped wings. We see them all the time. And of course, the monarch, the famous migrating butterfly. The corridor provides a crucial stopover for them on that amazing journey. Also, the Gulf fritillary, bright orange, always seems to be dancing around the flowers.
So vibrant.
And the giant swallowtail. It's one of the biggest butterflies in North America. Really impressive to see. They're all residents now.
You mentioned before that these butterflies aren't just beautiful. They act as bioindicators. What does that mean here? How does their presence tell us the corridor is healthy?
Right. Bioindicators. Basically, they're species whose health or just their presence or absence gives you a really good clue about the overall health of the environment.
What?
So the fact that the Attila, which was endangered, is doing so well, that tells us the conditions are right. The fact that migrating monarchs consistently use the space, it tells us the plants are providing good nectar. The soil isn't contaminated with pesticides. They're like little living signals validating that the ecosystem is functioning as intended. They're tiny health reports, in a way.
An orchestra of quiet resilience. I like how you put that.
Yeah.
Are butterflies the only performers, or have others joined this habitat?
Oh no, it's definitely a bigger ensemble. The butterflies might be the most visible, but the corridor also supports all sorts of native bees, which are critical pollinators too. Dragonflies, ladybugs, which help control pests. Naturally, lots of local birds using it for food and shelter. And we shouldn't forget the nocturnal pollinators too, like certain moths. It becomes this really complex, buzzing, interdependent community. It shows how quickly life can bounce back if you just give it the right conditions.
That's incredible. Yeah, speaking of validation, Miami Ironside got official recognition this year, right? Certified wildlife habitat from the National Wildlife Federation. That sounds like a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's not just a plaque you buy. You have to demonstrate that you're providing the essential elements. Food sources, water sources, cover from predators, and places for wildlife to raise their young.
Right.
And crucially, you have to show you're using sustainable practices. So it really confirms that The years of intentional work have paid off. It wasn't just luck or random planting.
So what were some of those specific design choices that made it work so well?
Well, a key one was using only native plants, native flowers, native herbs.
Yeah,
Because they're adapted to the local climate, they need less water, less fuss, and crucially, they provide the exact food sources that local pollinators need.
that makes sense.
Then there's the soil, a huge commitment to keeping it pesticide-free. And using regenerative practices, things that actually build up healthy soil biology, that makes the whole system more resilient, naturally resistant to pests.
Hmm.
They also strategically included trees for shade. That does more than just provide bird habitat. It actually cools the surrounding area, which is huge in Miami, and helps clean the air. Even the ground cover plants were chosen carefully to protect the soil, hold on to rainwater.
So it's all connected. It's not just picking pretty flowers. This sounds like what you call ecological design. It's functional, it's healing, it's alive, not just something to look at.
Exactly. That's the core philosophy. It moves beyond just ornamentation. It integrates the ecological function into the design of the place itself.
Which is a pretty big shift in thinking, isn't it?
It is. It treats the built environment and the natural world as partners, not adversaries.
So what does this Miami Ironside example really tell us? We started by saying nature often feels pushed out there. Does this mean that idea is just wrong?
I think it strongly suggests that, yes, that myth that nature belongs in reserves and cities are just for people. This project really challenges that. It shows cities can be habitats.
Wow.
Every little bit of urban space, a crack in the pavement, a balcony, a rooftop, that strip of grass by the sidewalk, it all has potential to support some form of life. Ironside just shows what happens when you harness that potential intentionally and at a larger scale.
But that takes real intention, as you said. It needs designers, developers, city planners to think differently about space. How tough is that sell, especially in a place like Miami, where every square foot is valuable?
Oh, it's definitely a challenge. There's always pressure to maximize built space for immediate financial return. But Ironside demonstrates the value that integrating ecology brings.
That's so.
Well, they've literally woven ecology into the architecture, the landscape, into the lifestyle there. Biodiversity is part of the daily experience. And you realize it's not just about the butterflies or bees. It's about the people, too.
Right.
The goal is creating environments that support human well-being and planetary health together. It shows that this kind of green infrastructure isn't just an add-on cost, it's an investment. It makes the urban space more resilient, more enjoyable, cooler, cleaner, ultimately more valuable for everyone in the long run.
This whole deep dive really hammers home a powerful idea.
Mm.
Restoration, bringing nature back. It's possible even in our densest cities, maybe even especially important there. It makes you really think about the power we have through intentional design.
Absolutely. That's the core message, I think. When you shift from designing around nature or just adding bits of it in to truly designing with nature as a partner, everything changes.
A powerful thought to end on.
And maybe something for you, the listener, to ponder. What could designing with nature mean in your own neighborhood, maybe even your own balcony or windowsill? How could you help foster a little bit of life in an unexpected place?